Mr. Country CEO back in the house again. Man, look, June is in this piece, right? Welcome back to the channel, subscribers, family, and friends. Look, finished up with you on a series of videos on last week, but for the next 3 weeks, for the rest of this month, no, for the next 2 weeks, I want to talk about my story. I've been asked by several people, and as I get ready to kind of lead up to writing my autobiography, I want to just give you some tidbits of my story. I believe it can be an inspiration. I know it can be an inspiration for somebody to be able to get started in this dump truck business. So the title of these series of videos, the big title is going to be, why did I start a dump truck business, right? Or why did I start my dump truck business? And I'm going to break it down into segments so you can easily, consume it piece by piece, right? All right. So the birth of my story. Let me give you a little background in this first video. At 17 years old in high school, my mom started a furniture business, rent-to-own furniture business, from a lawsuit that she had got from a slip and fall. And so I would get out of school half a day as a senior and go work the rent-to-own business, delivering furniture to people that was renting furniture from my mom's business. And enjoyed it. Of course, I put a little few dollars in my pocket as a senior and had a vehicle she had bought me. And but then my mom then began to take trips out of town, and they left me in charge, right? I knew how to do the paperwork. I knew how to rent stuff out to people. So, oh well. So it was me, and I had a cousin, and I also had a classmate that was working with me at the time, part-time. So while they would be out of town, I ran the business, right? They were going to California one year for a funeral. I ran the business the whole week. So that's when I got my first taste at just business, right? And it did something to me. I liked it. I liked being in charge. I liked calling the shots, and of course, everybody likes making money. And so that's what wet my palate, if you will, gave me the thirst to say, okay, wow. All right. So, did that. My goal was to be a lawyer. I've always loved the lawyering shows, Perry Mason, Matlock, Law and Order. I wanted to be a lawyer. That's what I have. I am an analytical thinker. And so my mind, that's how my mind is. And so I wanted to be a lawyer, and I wanted to go to Southern University Law School, right? Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and get my law degree and start my own law practice. And I never forget a conversation my uncle and I had one day, and telling him what I was getting ready to do. I had made 19 on ACT, so I'm already good. My grades, I had a 3.2, I think. So I was all set to go to college. And my uncle said, well, man, I don't know why you're doing that. You're sitting on the gold mine. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, your mama got this business here. So I had decided, I said, well, okay, well, maybe I will stay into this. Well, lo and behold, things didn't go well. A couple years after that, business went downhill. We ended up closing the business, right? So I had to get a job. So lo and behold, everybody in my area knows if you can't do nothing else, you can go and work at the state, we call it, but corrections is where I went. In my county, there's one prison. The county over, there's state penitentiary, Angola. All right, so I filled out a civil service application, and Angola was the first one to call. So I knew people in my area that worked at Angola. They say, hey, it's cool, pays a little more than all the other prisons, right? But also Angola had a reputation, hardcore criminals. So I'm like, okay, or whatever. I'm 19 years old, took the test, passed the test, get hired, worked in Angola. I'm in there at 19 years old, and I'm enjoying it. It's exciting. I'm getting used to it. I'm not scared of these guys. And you find when you get working in that environment, they'll hurt each other and other inmates before they do anything to you if you're treating them right. If you go in there talking down on them, trying to handle these guys growing any kind of way, well, yeah, somebody might hit you upside the head or something. And but I had a good time there. Worked the cell blocks. The youngest guy on the cell blocks. I held it down. And so I saw a couple of guys I knew started getting days. I was on nights, 12-hour nights, shift work. I was like, man, I'm tired of these nights. So people were trying to hook me up to get on days. I'm looking at guys coming after me through the academy, getting hired on, going straight to days. And then finally the warden himself come down to walk. We called it one night, and I caught him and I asked him about days, and he talked like he was going to help me get on days. Didn't happen. I get a little frustrated for sure. And lo and behold, my good friend of mine who had been in Angola 8-9 years, he leaves and goes and get his Class B CDL and starts driving concrete truck. And I'm like, dude, why would you do that? I'm like, Angola, benefits, insurance, retirement. Why in the world would he leave Angola to go and drive a concrete truck? And I talked with him, and he said, man, I just got tired of it. You know, them long 12-hour shifts, confined. He said, really, you locked up too when you work at a prison. Well, you got a point there. So he went and got his Class B CDL. Now, back then, and of course, this is 1997, you could basically take the test, go get the CDL book from DMV, study the book, and all it takes to get a Class B CDL was air brakes and general knowledge, 2 tests, right? And man, I went and got the book, studied the book, scheduled my road test with a third-party administrator. Had never drove a straight truck vehicle or a bus or anything, but they had me in a school bus. I drove the bus, and I got my Class B CDL, easy peasy. All right, and a guy I knew for years, had been at the concrete plant a long time. Same concrete plant my friend went to, boom, I go and get a job at the concrete plant. And so that was my beginning into trucking, something that you needed to know. I did not jump straight into dump trucking. I actually went and started driving a concrete truck. And let me sidebar here to help somebody. They'll hire anybody. You come straight out of no school, get a CDL. Concrete companies will hire anybody right off the bat. And so they hired me, and my guy I knew, he trained me. And I started driving concrete trucks, right? All right. To close out this video, I'll tell you, I was excited to be in a truck. It was big, and being on the road on my own and delivering the concrete to a job. Nobody's in the truck with me. Nobody's looking over my shoulder. I enjoyed that kind of work, the freedom of the open road. And I was like, man, I really like this. And man, I was slinging mud, as they say, right? The problem that began to be that I had was that I wasn't making any hours at the plant that I was at. I mean, the manager, you know, sometimes it was 12, 1 o'clock, he'll be doing this. That means wash up, ain't nothing else. And I'm like, man, it's 12, 1 o'clock. We ain't gonna get 8 hours a day. And so I couldn't get no hours. I was making 25, 30 hours, right? Didn't have a whole lot of bills. So it was cool for a little while. But after a while, I wanted more. And what I figured out, like, well, what could I do? Well, there was another branch or yard of the same company in Baton Rouge. And we washing up, we would always hear those guys on the radio, they still working. So I went to the manager, hey man, you think I can transfer to the Baton Rouge plant? He said, yeah, as long as you can get from A to B, you can get down. I said, yeah, I got a car. He said, okay, well, yeah, I'll transfer you down there. And I go to Baton Rouge. And immediately I go from making 30 hours in the plant closest to my house from instantly making 60 to 70 hours a week. And that's when I began to do. Leave out as dark. I never forget my grandfather-in-law said, he said, that boy leave out as dark, and when he come home it's dark. I started putting in 60, 70. When they would do those 12 o'clock pours. If you're a concrete trucker, you know about 12 a.m. pours. Man, I was doing 80 hours. Most I got in a week one time was 84 hours, but consistently 70, 80 hours. And I began to grind it out like that. And that was my identity. Long hours. We weren't making but $9.15 an hour. Aspiring dump truckers, $9.15 an hour driving a concrete mixer in the city of Baton Rouge. And I was bringing home $600, $700, $800. But remember, back in 1997, 98, that was decent money. And I didn't have a whole lot of bills, so I was tickled to death. And was doing that and became one of the lead drivers at that plant. The man could depend on me to take late loads. A lot of the older guys would want to get on all about 3 o'clock. I didn't mind working 5, 6, 7 o'clock. So I was a grinder, and that's where it started. And I loved my job. I loved slinging concrete and seeing something, watch this, come from nothing to something. That excited me. I had a passion of seeing a form with the wire and the dirt and the plastic and the boards. And then in the morning, first load goes in. And then by the end of the day, a finished product. I loved it, that feeling that it gave me. Keep that in mind. And that's what my life was about, and that was where I started in trucking. Stay tuned for the next video so I can tell you the beginning of a thirst for something different. Hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. I'm gone.